If you're between 70 and 80 and still doing these 8 things, you're not just aging, you're thriving. You're proving that growing older doesn't have to mean growing weaker. You know, there's this idea that once you hit a certain age, let's say around 70, you're supposed to just slow down. People start treating you differently. Family members begin hovering a bit more, asking if you need help with the groceries, or suggesting you shouldn't drive too far on your own. You hear the same old phrases again and again. Take it easy. Don't push yourself. You've earned your rest. And while all of that might come from a place of love, the message underneath is often the same. You're getting old now. It's time to slow down. But here's the thing. What if that's not the full story? What if being in your 70s or even your 80s doesn't automatically mean decline, weakness, or dependence? What if there are still people out there, maybe even you, who are not just surviving at this age but truly thriving? Let me tell you something. If you're between 70 and 80 and you can still do some of the things I'm about to talk about, you're doing a lot better than you may realize. In fact, you're in a very special group. You are, without a doubt, a rare gem. Let's start from the top. Walking without support, more than just a step forward. There's something incredibly powerful about the simple act of walking, especially when you can do it without a cane, walker, or someone holding your arm. Take Mr. Howard, for example. He's 78, lives in a small town in Oregon, and walks every morning to the local bakery, rain or shine. He doesn't walk fast, but he walks steady. No cane, no assistance. Just his own 2 feet and a strong will. He says, "As long as I can walk to get my coffee, I know I'm still in control of my life." And he's right. Walking unaided isn't just about movement. It means your legs are still strong, your balance is intact, and your joints, though they may creak now and then, are still doing their job. It also says something deeper, that you're still able to move through the world under your own power. That's independence. That's dignity. Of course, as we age, things like arthritis, muscle loss, or nerve problems can make walking harder. So if you're still able to move around your home, run errands, or take short walks without needing help, you're doing better than you might think. You're showing signs of physical health that many people lose by this age. It's more than a step, it's a sign of strength. The sharpness of the mind, remembering the little things. Let's talk about memory for a moment, because let's be honest, one of the biggest fears people have as they age is losing their memory. Not being able to remember birthdays, forgetting names, getting confused about appointments or even what day it is. It can be frustrating, embarrassing, even scary. But if you're still remembering your daughter's birthday, or what you had for lunch yesterday, or where you left your reading glasses, that's no small thing. That's a big deal. I met a woman named June, age 75, who still runs the local book club in her neighborhood. She keeps track of who's read what, remembers everyone's favorite authors, and never misses a meeting. She doesn't write things down in a planner. She just remembers her secret. I keep my brain busy. I read, I write, and I stay curious. Mental sharpness at this age means your brain is active. It's still forming connections. It means you're still engaged with life, not just existing, but participating. If you're someone who still keeps up with daily tasks, remembers phone numbers, and knows what's on your schedule without needing 10 sticky notes, you're not just lucky. You're proof that growing older doesn't have to mean losing yourself. Cooking for yourself. More than just a meal. Now let's talk about something that might seem ordinary on the surface. Cooking. Yes, standing in your kitchen, chopping up some vegetables, boiling pasta, or making your famous chicken soup may not sound like a big deal. But at your age, it is. Preparing meals for yourself shows you've still got the strength in your hands, the balance to stand for a while, the attention span to follow steps, and the mental clarity to remember what's next. It's not just about food, it's about independence, routine, and pride. There's a man named George who lives alone in his late 70s. He says he cooks every evening, not because he has to, but because it reminds him of who he is. Every time I make something from scratch, he told me, I feel like I'm still me, I'm still capable. Many older adults give up cooking because it becomes too hard. Their hands shake, their legs get tired. They can't focus long enough to follow a recipe. And that's understandable. But if you're still handling it all, shopping, cooking, even cleaning up afterward, then you're keeping a very important part of your life intact. Cooking isn't just about nutrition. It's about self-sufficiency. It's a quiet, daily declaration. I still have control over my life. Managing your own money, a hidden strength. Let's move on to something most people don't like to talk about openly: money. Handling your own finances might not be glamorous, but it's one of the clearest signs that your mind is still sharp. Think about it. Balancing a bank account, paying bills, setting a budget, or even checking your balance online, all require memory, logic, focus, and decision-making. I once knew a retired teacher named Helen who was 82 and still managed all her own accounts. She knew exactly when each bill was due and balanced her checkbook every Sunday morning with a cup of tea. No calculator, no fancy software, just discipline and focus. When someone starts struggling with numbers or forgets to pay bills, it's often an early sign of cognitive decline. But if you're still confidently managing your money, it shows your brain is functioning beautifully. It also means something else. You're still in control of your choices. That's power. This is just the beginning. There are still more signs that show you're doing far better than most people your age. If you're still walking on your own, remembering things, cooking, and managing your money, you're not just aging. You're thriving, and that's something to celebrate. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about the other remarkable things that truly set you apart. Things like strength, vision, conversation, and that beautiful, curious spirit that refuses to fade. You might be older, yes, but that doesn't mean you're weaker. You might just be one of the rare gems in this world. Part 2. Strength, sight, social joy, and the power of a curious mind. In the last part, we talked about how simple things like walking, remembering, cooking, and handling money aren't so simple when you're in your 70s or 80s. They're signs that your body and mind are still working together, that you're still in charge of your life, that you're part of a rare group, but we're not done yet. There are still 4 more signs that show just how well you're really doing, starting with something that seems tiny but actually tells us a lot about your body's strength. Standing up from a chair without using your hands, a secret test of strength. Try this right now if you can. Sit in a firm chair with your back straight and your hands in your lap. Now stand up without using your hands to push off. Could you do it? If so, your body just passed one of the quietest but most important strength tests for older adults. You see, being able to stand up without pushing yourself up with your arms shows that your legs and core muscles are still doing their job. It means your thighs still have strength. Your stomach muscles are supporting you. Your balance is still good. It may sound small, but this movement is deeply connected to your independence. Why? Because once people start needing help to stand up, they usually begin needing help for other things too. Standing becomes harder. Getting out of bed takes longer. Climbing stairs becomes a worry. It's the beginning of a slippery slope toward needing daily assistance. But if you can still stand up on your own, especially without thinking twice about it, that's a powerful indicator that your mobility is intact. It means your body is still cooperating with you, not resisting you. There's a woman named Evelyn I know. She's 76, and she does a little routine every morning after breakfast. Sit, stand, 10 times in a row. She calls it her independence test. And she's right. Being able to do that shows your body still has fuel in the tank. Good vision, without straining, more than just clear sight. Let's talk about eyesight. By the time most people hit their late 60s or early 70s, reading the fine print on a medicine bottle starts to feel like decoding ancient text. And there's no shame in that. Eyes go through a lot as we age. Macular degeneration, cataracts, dry eyes, and general weakening of the lens. But if you're someone who can still read the newspaper in the morning without a magnifying glass, or thread a needle without asking someone else to do it for you, that's not ordinary. That's exceptional. Your vision is helping you stay connected to the world around you. It allows you to read, to enjoy hobbies like sewing or puzzles, to see your grandchildren's faces clearly, or to read the menu at your favorite cafe without frustration. There's a gentleman I once met, named Roy, who's 81. He's a retired painter, still paints on weekends, still reads novels, still refuses to get large print books. I'd rather squint than give up, he jokes. But the truth is, he doesn't have to squint. His eyes are still in great shape, and because of that, he's still able to enjoy so much more of life. If your eyes are still serving you well without needing heavy correction, be thankful. Good vision at this age is a hidden treasure. Participating in conversations easily, holding on to human connection. Now this one is close to the heart. Conversation. You may not think about it much, but being able to follow a conversation, hear someone clearly, respond quickly, and laugh at the right moment. That takes more than just hearing. It takes mental agility. It takes emotional presence. And sadly, many people lose this ability with age, either because their hearing fades or their thinking slows down, or they just start withdrawing from social situations. But if you're still chatting with friends, on the phone, enjoying long talks with your spouse or neighbors, or even making jokes with your grandkids, that's a beautiful thing. It means your hearing is still working, your brain is processing information quickly, and your heart is still open to connection. There's a man named Dennis who visits a local diner every Friday morning. He sits at the same stool, orders the same eggs and toast, and chats with the waitress about the weather, the news, and his dog Lucky. He says, "Talking to people keeps me from fading away." And he's right. Conversation is more than just talking. It's connection. It's engagement. It keeps us grounded in the present moment. It reminds us that we're still part of the world. So if you're someone who's still quick with a reply, who still enjoys a good story, who listens and laughs and responds with ease, you're holding on to one of life's sweetest joys, the ability to connect. A curious, positive attitude, the fountain of youth. Now, this last one isn't about your body, it's about your mindset, and, honestly, it might be the most important of all. If you're still curious about the world, if you still ask questions, if you still like to learn new things or try a new hobby or explore a new place, you're not just growing older, you're growing better. It's easy as the years go by to get stuck in routine, to say, "I'm too old for that," to stop reaching for new experiences. But if you're still looking forward to tomorrow, still interested in the people and world around you, still smiling more than you frown, then you're emotionally and mentally younger than many people decades younger than you. A woman named Rosa once told me, "My body is 80, but my mind still thinks it's 40. She was learning to play the ukulele at the time, just because, just for fun. And that spirit, that spark, is what keeps people going. A positive attitude doesn't just feel good, it actually improves your health. Studies have shown that people who stay upbeat live longer, get sick less often, and have stronger relationships. So if you still wake up with excitement, if you still find joy in the little things, if you still believe the world has more to offer, you're thriving in the best way possible. You are the exception, not the rule. Let's take a step back. If you can do even half of the things we've talked about in these two parts, walking, without help, remembering things, cooking, managing money, standing up easily, seeing clearly, enjoying conversations, and staying curious, you're doing better than most people realize. And if you can do all 8, then you're a rare gem in a world where aging is often seen only through the lens of loss. You're living proof that getting older doesn't have to mean getting weaker. It can mean getting wiser, stronger in spirit, and more fully yourself. So, keep going. Keep shining. Keep showing the world what aging well truly looks like. Because the world needs more examples like you. You know, aging isn't about counting candles on a cake. It's about counting the moments you still feel alive. If you're still walking without help. If your memory still serves you. If you can make a meal, pay your bills, stand with strength. Read without strain, hold a joyful conversation and stay curious. Then you, my friend, are not just aging. You're thriving. You're the kind of person younger folks should look up to. You're the living proof that life doesn't end at 70. It simply changes pace. So don't let anyone tell you what you can't do. Celebrate what you can still do. Because it's not just impressive, it's inspiring. And if you recognized yourself in even just a few of these signs, give yourself credit. You're doing better than you think. Before we go, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 8 signs do you still proudly hold on to? Or maybe you have your own little test to measure your independence, like Evelyn's sit and stand routine or Rosa's ukulele hobby. Drop a comment below and share your story. We read every one, and you never know who you might inspire. And if this video reminded you of someone you love, a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, go ahead and share it with them. Let them know they're not invisible, they're remarkable. Don't forget to like this video if it made you smile, and hit that subscribe button if you want more content made just for you. Stories, tips, and conversations that honor your experience, your wisdom, and your life. Because here, we believe growing older is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a beautiful new chapter. Thanks for spending a little time with us today. Until next time, stay curious, stay strong, and above all, keep shining.